ఇంకెవరు రాలేదా? వాసుదేవ. హరి ఓం. శం నో మిత్రస్యం వరుణః శం నో భవత్వర్యమా శం న ఇంద్రో బృహస్పతిః శం నో విష్ణురుక్రమః నమో బ్రహ్మణే నమస్తే వాయో త్వమేవ ప్రత్యక్షం బ్రహ్మాసి త్వామేవ ప్రత్యక్షం బ్రహ్మ వదిష్యామి ఋతం వదిష్యామి సత్యం వదిష్యామి తన్మామవతు తద్వక్తారమవతు అవతు మాం అవతు వక్తారం. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. సర్వవేదార్థతత్వజ్ఞం వేదార్థప్రతిపాదకం పురాణసారసర్వజ్ఞం కృష్ణం వందే జగద్గురుం. ప్రాచ్యపాశ్చాత్యదేశానాం సమన్వయవిధాయకం శాంతం సౌమ్యగుణోపేతం కృష్ణం వందే జగద్గురుం. ఓం అస్మద్గురుభ్యో నమః. So good morning and welcome to all of you. After a gap in between, because of my travels and so many programs in between. So we are studying the Aphorism 23, that is Ishvara Pranidhanadva. That means samadhi is attained rapidly by a total surrender to the Lord. So we have been discussing about this Ishvara. Who is Ishvara and where is he placed about this we have been studying. So, therefore, Ishvara is existing everywhere in the space. That's what we have been studying. So he is there, and when we are there in the body also he is there. When we have taken a birth, we are there in the body, and that Ishvara is also there. Even though we are there, he is also there. So he is always there. That is the difference. We are there only when we have taken a body. When we have taken a birth, we are there. And he is also there along with us in the body. But he is there even after we leave the body. How this is to be understood then? When we are there in the body, he is there also. When we leave the body, we left the body, and the body is there no more, then also he is there. Again, when we take a new body, again he is there also along with us. How is to be understood? Suppose we are standing here, we are sitting here or standing here. Where are we standing? We are standing in the space, in Akasha. When we moved from here to other place, a few meters from here we have moved, then what happened? The space which is here is remaining here, and our body moved there, and the space there at that place have entered our body. That means that much volume of space which we have occupied when we are here, when we move, this much of space which is there in our body has moved from here to that place, but the space which is existing when we are here, when we move our body, this space will remain here. And when we move to that place, the space which is there enters the body. In addition to the space which we have To understand more precisely, when we have taken an empty bottle, we kept here, and after some time, we wanted to move this bottle to another table nearby. So this bottle, empty bottle, we have displaced it from here to another table. It is only one bottle. So then there is space here, there is space there where we have put the bottle now. Is it the one space or there are two spaces? It is only one space, one akasha, which is there in the bottle. When the bottle here, when the bottle has moved there, it is one akasha or one space. So, whether the space is outside the bottle, whether the space is inside the bottle, the space is one. We have to get familiarized in understanding, in realizing this fact, this truth. Because it is the truth. We have kept a bottle here, empty bottle. Bottle is empty, but bottle is not devoid of space. Space is there, full in the bottle. After some time, I have moved this bottle from this table to another table. There, when the bottle is kept on the other table, also it is full of space. So the space here in the bottle and the space there in the bottle, both are the same space. So, in the same manner, when we stand here with our body, and when there is another person sitting before me, either before me, right to me, before me, or even farther, but also. So, there is the same space. It is just like, for example, if you have one bottle here and one bottle there. In the first experiment, the same bottle you have moved from here to another table. But in the second experiment, you keep one bottle here, one bottle there. So the space in the bottle here and the space in the bottle there, is it not the same space? Since the space is one, so it is one space that is existing here also in the bottle and there also in the bottle. Now in the same manner, is Ishvara or the Lord, who is only one, like the space, because his form is, space is his form. That's what as explained in the Vedas. So, if I sit here or stand here, this Ishvara is there in me, like the space here, and when I move there few meters away, then also Ishvara is there in me. And since the Lord is only one, so it's the same Lord who is there existing in me, either I am here when I am there, and the second instance, second experiment, same Lord is existing in me as well as He is existing in the person sitting or standing before me, or many persons like you are sitting before me in your places. So it is Ishvara or the Lord is existing in all the persons at the same time. Same one Ishvara. One Lord is only one. When we, in these examples, because we have to very clearly we have to understand this. Then only we can understand what is Ishvara in its true sense. So, when we think of the space in the bottle, when you think of the space inside the bottle, when two bottles are there, when we think this bottle space, this bottle is different, that bottle is different, and so there is space here in this bottle, the space there in the bottle. But if you think of the space, it is only same one space which is existing in this bottle, in that bottle, or in a number of bottles. So, when we see that this space belongs to this bottle, that space belongs to that bottle, in the same manner, when I am sitting here, if I think that the Lord who is dwelling in me is one Lord, and the Lord dwelling in each one of you is another Lord, then that is ignorance. Because it is the only one Lord who is dwelling either in me or in you or in anybody. How is this riddle? How can it be understood? Several times we have explained this, because when we have built a house, there was only one space. After we built the house, the same one space is experienced as the space in different rooms of the same house. In each room there is space, which we have named it as dining hall, as kitchen, bedroom, toilet, like this. We have given different names, but it is exactly the same space which was there existing before we built the house. And now it is the same space which is existing in every room which was built. This is the same space. So, we are also using this Ishvara like that. Ishvara, or who is also called the Purusha, we are also using him like that, like the space in the house. Because we forget that we think always that he is existing in us. But the truth is, our bodies are existing in him, and consequently he is existing in our bodies. That is the truth. When we have 10 bottles, and we have kept each bottle on each table, we have 10 tables here. Keep each bottle on each table, one bottle on one table. So, each bottle has space inside. But the truth is that all these bottles are there existing in the same space, but they appear to be having, each bottle has its own space, but this is only apparent, an apparent truth, but not eternal truth. What is eternal truth is, space is not existing in the body, in the bottles. Bottles are kept in the space. That is why space is there incidentally in the bottles. In the same manner, Ishvara, in the beginning we understand that Ishvara is dwelling in every person, in every being. That is initial observation. But later we will realize that all the forms of the beings are existing in Ishvara, the Lord. So, incidentally, Lord is the indweller in all these forms. It is explained in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord explained that since all the beings are existing in me, therefore I am existing in all the beings. In that manner I am existing in all the beings, because all the beings are dwelling in me only. The I am, the Lord. Where are we dwelling? Even though we are dwelling in our house, we are dwelling in our body, but we are dwelling in the Lord consciousness only. That is what the Lord says. I do not dwell in any form, in anybody. All the forms are dwelling in me, therefore, incidentally, I dwell in them. We have to very clearly understand this and realize this, not just understanding, we have to realize this fact. Then only we can really understand what Ishvara is. Since we are dwelling in the space, therefore, there is space in us. So our bodies are relative and space is absolute. Or in that experiment, the bottles are relative. The bottles which you have kept on each table are relative in their existence, because the bottle may break into pieces, but space cannot break. You cannot break the space into pieces. Can you? Nobody. Space is absolutely one. So even before the bottle is made, the space is there. After the bottle is made, it is standing in the space, therefore the space is there filled in the bottle. In the same manner, Ishvara. So we have to now replace the word Ishvara, we have to replace with space. Space is an example. So we put Ishvara. So Ishvara is the one, the Lord is one. Even before we are born, the Lord is there, because He is omniscient. That means He remains everywhere, He dwells everywhere. And since we are standing in Him, it appears He is dwelling in all of us. That is the truth. So, that space which is there in our body is called Jiva. Jiva means the individual. And that space, which is always existing in us and around us and in everybody, that is called Ishvara or the Lord. That is the meaning of the word Purusha. So what is the truth is, now you are there listening to me, I am here speaking to you. Afterwards you may speak to me, I will listen to you. So the truth is that it is the Akasha or the space which wants to speak with space only. Space wants to speak with space. That is the truth. We have to leisurely, we have to sit, or when we are lying down on our bed, then we have to contemplate upon this. Who is Ishvara? There is no difference between Ishvara and space, because space is his form ultimately. Since space exists everywhere, it is the form of the Lord. So Lord is dwelling everywhere. So his form is the space. Since he is only one, therefore sometimes he feels like speaking to somebody. But there is nobody different from him. So he made forms in the space, and he dwells in all these forms because all these forms are made within himself, and these forms which are filled of Ishvara, these forms will speak to each other. So ultimately who is speaking to each other? Lord only speaks with himself in another form. He speaks from one form to another form. It is only he himself speaking to himself. Because who is speaking in us? It is not particularly any part of the body. Because the Lord is not dwelling in any particular part of the space, of the body. You know, He is there, He is there full in the space, because space is filled by Him. And our bodies are in space, therefore He is there dwelling in our bodies. When we leave the body also, He is there always. Just like how when we observe an electric cable through which the electricity appears to be flowing, because for our understanding, we feel that the electric power is like a stream flowing through the cable. But the truth is, the electricity is existing everywhere in the space, but what is happening? Since cable is a channel, that electricity is manifesting through the cable and appears for us as it is flowing. These are all It is all the phenomenon in the space. But the cable is not the electricity. Electricity is the power working through the cable, but cable is not this power. Power is different from the cable, but working through the cable. In the same manner, Ishvara expresses himself through our body, but our body is not Ishvara. Body is only a vehicle, like the cable. Just like how the cable is for the electricity, our body is to the Ishvara in us. This is how we have to remember. So, when I say I am is not this body. I am is neither the physical body, nor the vital body, nor the mind, nor the intelligence, nor buddhi, nor it is not the senses. So, I am or Ishvara is none of these, because all these what we speak about, they are explained as mine, but not I am. I am is different what I have. These are all the things which I can say, we can refer as I have. This we must be very clear. What are they? Our physical body, our vital body, our senses, our mind, and chitta, and buddhi, power of discrimination, or will, and our intelligence, and our ego. All these are what I have, but not what I am. So any part of ours, either the eye or the ear or the nose, all these are the parts of our body which have sprouted out from our body. So all these are the parts of our body, but not I am. So this is a miracle which we have to contemplate upon. So, Ishvara or Purusha, these are the two terms which we have to understand like this. Purusha is one term. Purusha means the one who dwells in the form, through the form. Ishvara means the same, who dwells and who is having control on all this. That is called Ishvara. So it is the same almost. So the physical body, the vital body, the mental body are all, and also the mind, buddhi, ego, all these are there. Which are contained in our body, but the center of all this is there in the heart. And what is there at the center of the heart? There is space, which is called I am. It's empty, it's apparently empty space. In the center of our heart is what is called I am. This is one which is not at all stained or influenced by anything. Nothing can influence or nothing can stain or do anything to this I am or the Ishvara. So this is the person, the I am. So all this creation has sprouted up from the space. All the atoms, all the molecules, all the atoms, and all the minutest parts of the atom, they come into existence they are fabricated in the space. From all the forms are fabricated in the space. All the forms of the living beings and all the objects which we call non-living, everything, they are fabricated in the space. And again, they disappear into the space. Just like how, when we observe the water, when the temperature goes down, suddenly you can see the water turns into a block of ice. And after some time, when the temperature increases, again this block of ice melts into water. Just like that. So, we have to, when we are in the body, then we can think that we have this Ishvara is there and he has this body. So this I am, Ishvara is I am, so this I am is having this body. And he has layers around him. All the layers, what are the layers? That ego, that intelligence, the buddhi, the mind, and the vital body and the physical body, all these are the layers. So, the one indweller along with all the layers is called Jiva, or the individual. So the one who is existing as the Lord in us is included, all these things are included in the Lord. And that one who is the Lord, who has all these layers around, he is called Purusha. So it is like this, it is explained in all the scriptures, in all the, either in the Vedas or in the Old Testament of Bible. So this is beyond any particular religion. It is common. It is one truth. There cannot be two truths. Truth is only one. So the Lord is only one. So the common name of the Lord is Ishvara. So Ishvara, along with all the layers, is called individual or Jiva, the monad. This individual, he has all the differentiation. He knows all the tastes. He knows what is happiness and what is misery. Once he is smiling, another time he could not smile. He may be weeping. Once he has a hope, once he has no hope. All these things belong to this individual jiva, individual consciousness. But he is not different from Ishvara, but Ishvara is inside of all these layers. So the one including all these layers is individual consciousness. The one who is beyond these layers, the one who is not affected of any of these things, is the Lord. For example, when we have prepared coffee, how we prepared coffee, you boil the water and then put some powder of coffee and then you call it coffee. But the atoms of the water in this coffee, they are not affected by the coffee. You see, even if you boil the water, if you mix coffee or if you mix tea or whatever it may be, all these different things, different tastes, different colors and all these things, they do not affect the atoms of the water. Because we have the molecule of water, H2O, and in this molecule of water you have the atoms of oxygen and hydrogen. And these atoms are not at all affected. Whether you boil coffee with this water, if you boil tea with this water, or if you boil something else with the water, but these atoms are not at all affected. Coffee gives you smell of coffee, but the atoms of the water with which you have prepared coffee, they have no smell. You see the wonderful thing. Even after you prepare the coffee also, the atoms, they don't have any smell. In the same manner, Ishvara, the Ishvara who is the Lord indweller, the I Am, he is not at all connected or affected with your individual name or any sort of identity which you hold. He is not connected to this. All the incidents of your life do not affect Ishvara. Suppose you have married. If you are a lady, you have married a man. Or nowadays, a woman can marry another woman, man can marry another man, whatever it may be. But the indweller, the Lord, is not concerned with all these things. He is not affected. Because Ishvara is neither woman nor man. He is Lord. But he is called always He. He is beyond all these things. He is not connected. All these things belong to one of the layers which are there around him. This we have to understand. Suppose I say she is my wife, this is not at all to the Ishvara who is indweller in me or in my wife. These relationships belong to the layers around Ishvara. What are the layers? All these layers which we use as what I have. That is what I say. I have my wife or I have my husband. But you cannot say, I have my Ishvara. No. I am Ishvara. I am the Lord. Lord is I am, but not I have. Never, never. So all what we can say or we can point out as what I have, they are not at all connected to the Lord inside. So since we have so many layers, all these relationships and transactions in our mundane life, they belong to one or another of these layers around the I am in us. This we have to remember very clearly. Unless we understand, we remember this clearly, unless we understand this clearly, we cannot really understand or realize what is being explained about Ishvara. You see, in our daily life, we have transactions. I have one type of transaction with my wife, another type of transaction with my son, with my daughter, with my parents. All these are, I have another transaction with my friend, or I have another type of transaction with my boss in the office, or another type of transaction with my subordinate in the office. So all these type of relationships or transactions, they belong to only these layers around Ishvara in us. They never can influence the Ishvara, the indweller in us. He is not at all concerned. Because it is same Ishvara, same Lord, who is the indweller in the other person. Just like how it is the same space in all the bottles in the first experiment, what we have discussed before. In all the bottles, it is the same space. There are not so many spaces. In the same manner, in all these bodies, it is the same Lord who is there as indweller. So therefore, if I call she is my wife, it is only about the layers, but not about the Lord in her or Lord in me. Because the Lord in her and Lord in me are the same. It is the same Lord. But these layers, every individual has his or her own layers. They differ from one another. So from one of the layers in me, I say, I am her husband. In the same manner, she also will say, he is my husband, from one of her layers. I say, she is my wife. She says, I am her husband. This is from only one of the layers, but not at all with the Ishvara. The Lord is not concerned with any of these things. Whether I and my wife are happy with each other or unhappy with each other, Ishvara is not concerned. Lord is not concerned with this. We must be very, very clear about this. So what we have to do? We have to surrender totally to that I am. That's the only thing what we have to do. If I have differences of opinion with my wife, both of us, what we have to do? We have to surrender all this to the indweller, the Lord I am, who is the only one. This we have to remember. It is the same Lord in me, same Lord in her, who is the one. So, therefore, both of us, we have to surrender to the indweller, the Lord. Because He is only one, then these problems will be solved. That is the only way. You see, when we are entering into the practical way of living in yoga, then we can feel, we can realize that all the problems disappear from our life. You see, that is very important. This we have to remember always. So, all these various things, which, for example, you have made some debts. So this is the Lord indweller is not at all concerned with any of these things. That we have to always remember. So we must realize this. So all our assets, all our liabilities in our life, all these things are not at all concerned to the Lord in us. He is not concerned. But it doesn't mean that you have to discard all these things. It doesn't mean that you have to discard your mundane life. There is no need to discard anything. But at the same time, you have to remember that the indweller is not at all connected to all these things. He is not influenced by all these things, because these belong to only certain layer of our existence. That is why we always say that all these things are things which we have, but the Lord is He who is I am. So I am is always singular, only one, no plural. And all these things are many, innumerable, because they belong to all these layers. So, what we have to do is that we have to attend, we have to fulfill our duties in each one of our layers. Because we have so many layers around the Lord in us. So in each layer we have certain duty. For example, towards my wife, I have certain duty. Towards my children, I have certain duty. Towards my people in the society, I have some duty. So these are the things which belong to the layers which we have to fulfill, we have to attend. We need not and should not discard our duty what we have to do. We should not discard them. But at the same time, we have to remember, never we have to feel whether we are successful or not. Only we have to attend and we have to do our lot about these things which belong to our layers. Because our form, our body, every time when we enter into a new body, into a new womb of another mother, the formation of the body is exactly in the same manner every time. That will never change. How is this possible? How can we understand this? It's a very simple thing. You observe yourself. When we observe our hair, for example, we have dressed our hair in certain manner. And our hair has a habit of bending in the particular pattern. Suppose I have shaved all my hair, and when my new hair forms, after it grows in the same pattern like before. You see, how is it happening? It is because of the faculty of what is called recollection, which is working there in the space. That is what is called association or force of habit. According to the habit, it grows like that. In the same manner, according to this habit or this association, our bodies are formed exactly in the same manner. For example, if you sow a seed of a particular tree, from that seed you get the same tree. How is that? Because of the habit, because of the association in the past. Because when you have a big tree, like a banyan tree, of course, which is not there in your countries, you may think of the tree, oak tree, which is there in every of your countries. An oak tree, you find a seed of the oak tree. If you cut this seed into very minute pieces and observe it under the powerful microscope, you do not find the form of a tree in any part of the seed. But when you sow this seed, then oak plant starts to grow, and it grows in the same manner, in the same shape, and same form, same shape. Everything is the same, like before. So it has its memory, its recollection. Because of this habit, which is a faculty in nature, because of the habit, it is only oak tree that grows from an oak seed, or apple tree from apple seed. You see, that's what we can observe. In the same manner, a human being from a human being. So that is how we see in the creation, we can observe it. Just like how we have the father, the grandfather, like that, the trees also. The father tree, grandfather tree, like that, in the same, exactly same pattern, same shape, all these things, which will never change. How is this? happening. Why not sometimes there is a deviation? If you soak the seed of an apple, why not sometimes by chance there is the growth of an oak tree from that seed? Never it happens. Because of the habit, because of the faculty of recollection, and because of the habit, it will never be otherwise. In the same manner about any of the beings, in the same manner all the beings also. So, at every step we can experiment it and verify this, and it will be the same truth. You take water. So with this water you can prepare some part of the water into coffee, and some part of this you can prepare into a sweet drink. So it is, water is there in the coffee, in the sweet drink and something else, what you have prepared. But none of these differences, they can influence the molecules of water and the atoms of water. They are not influenced by any of these things. In the same manner, this Ishvara or the Lord, who is the indweller, he is also he is never influenced by any of these, by any of these layers around. That is what we have to remember. He is there dwelling in every part in our body. We never should think, or we never should fancy that this Lord indweller is there locked in certain part of our body. Never. You cannot lock him like that. He is there as the space inside our heart. That means it is that point from where he can express as the I am. That is the thing, but he is dwelling in every atom of our body. How? Why? Because our body, with all its atoms, with all its shape, is existing in Ishvara only. That is the truth. So, we have to realize that the place, the space within the heart, which we call the space of Ishvara, the space of expression of Ishvara, it is like a switch. For example, if we have arranged all these cables, wires, connecting all these lights and instruments like fans and all this, but that needs to switch on at certain point. There will be one main switch, what we call. Unless you put on this, there will be no electricity working any of these things. So none of these instruments can work. Like this, there is one main switch which we call the heart center, which is the place of manifestation of the Lord, the indweller, the I am. That is only the control, the place of control or switch, or place of working, place of manifestation. But that doesn't mean that he is dwelling only at that small space in us. No, he dwells in every part, because our body, the whole of our body with every part is dwelling in Ishvara only. This is the reality. He has spread, he is existing, he is everywhere, in every part, he is there. That is what we have to remember always. That is what is meant by the term Vishnu. Vishnu is not any name of any person. The term denotes that the one who is there in every, who is there existing in everything, in every part. So, every part of the space, whole space is pervaded by this Lord, and this Lord of pervasion is called Vishnu. So that is the technical term given for the Lord of pervasion. Lord as in the capacity of pervasion is called Vishnu. So he is there in each and every minutest particle of the space. So no particle, no part of the space is devoid of this Lord. So, from the Lord or the indweller or the Ishvara is the source of all the solar systems, all the forms in the universe, and all the working of these solar systems with all the parts of the solar system. For example, in our solar system we have the sun, around which all the other planets are going around. So this is called the sun's family, one solar system. Like this there are innumerable solar systems working. So all these things have come into existence. That space is what is called by name Ishvara or the Lord. So for example, when we observe the sun solar system, so the sun of our solar system is like a lens for the higher light which is being radiated through this lens of our sun. So all this creation has come through this sun into this solar system, like this in every solar system. So beyond this, it is an object in the subjective form, and it is coming down into objective form through this. That is how we have to understand this. So it is the same formula for the formation either of those solar systems and the same formula of the formation of the bodies of all the individuals. So there is a center of consciousness who is called Ishvara. So the Lord or the Ishvara is explained in the Vedas that He is there as the minutest of all the minute forms, and He is there as the largest of all large forms. So He is there in the atom as the atomness. He is there in the whole of the solar system as the center of consciousness of the whole solar system. So therefore, every day, what we have to contemplate, what we have to also meditate is that is what it is explained in this Vedic text. Stand before the sun, rising sun, and meditate that the one who is the indweller of this sun, the one who is expressing himself as the Lord, Sun God, He is only one. He is the only one. So He is the Purusha or the Lord, who is the only one. And later we can realize that He is only one, and also it is He who is also there in the one who is the perceiver. That means who is perceiving Him. When you are meditating upon the Lord, indweller, as the center of the sun, rising sun, then we will gradually realize, we will also meditate that the one who is the meditator in us, who is the perceiver, also the same, the Lord. Therefore, there is one meditation given by Master E.K. Meditate upon the meditator. So, who is the one who is meditating in us? We think we are meditating. I say, I am meditating. The truth is, I am is the meditator. Not this I am from any layers. It is the one Lord I am who is the meditator. So when you meditate upon the Lord consciousness, so you will realize that it is the one about whom you are meditating, the one who is meditating are one and the same. That is what we will realize. So therefore, Ishvara means who is the one who is meditated and who is meditating. Both are one. So therefore, in this Aphorism 23, what Patanjali says is, make a total surrender to that Lord, that Ishvara, a total surrender. So what I have is all these layers around what I am. What I am is Ishvara, the Lord. And all the layers around are called what I have. So in this aphorism, Patanjali says that Ishvara pranidhana means we have to make a total surrender to the Lord indweller. What is this total surrender? Master has easily explained to us. What I have is to be surrendered to what I am. This is more easy to understand. We have surrendered totally what I have to what I am. That is very important. This needs a constant practice. We have to practice, otherwise we cannot do that. Because we are not familiar to this. We are not familiar about this existence of the Lord as the indweller. Therefore, we are not familiar of this process of surrendering what I have to what I am. So we have to make a constant practice. What I have to what I am. That is the process prescribed in this aphorism, Ishvara pranidhana. Because we have all these layers, our body, our senses, our mind, and our thoughts, our impressions. We have so many impressions. That is the behavior of the mind. Our mind constantly receives these impressions through the senses. And the mind registers. Mind receives in the form of reflection through the senses. All the objective world is reflected through the activity of the senses upon the screen of our mind. So our mind receives all these reflections and they are imprinted into the mind. That is what is called impression. Whatever is received as a reflection on the screen of our mind, it gets imprinted. It makes an impression on the mind. That is how we receive all the impressions. Then what happens is, when an impression is formed, an impression is made on our mind, it gets registered or gets into memory, because that is one of the behaviors. Smriti, we have studied about the 5 types of behavior of our mind. One of the behavior is smriti. Smriti means recollection. So it goes into memory. Whatever we receive as a picture, as a reflection from the outer world about any object or about any person, that is projected on the screen of our mind. Then it is registered or put into memory. It goes into memory automatically. In the computer language, it is saved. So it is saved as memory. It goes into memory. We have enormous memory. all these things will go into memory. So all these impressions belong to what I have. All this memory and all these things, they belong to what I have, but not what I am. Because what I am is the pure light in us. And this pure light, what I am, it never includes all this activity of this mind and senses and all these things. All these impressions and all these things, they cannot reach that level of consciousness, which is what I am. So it is the light. So the consciousness of untrained mind, untrained being, is gravitated to what I have. That is what is happening in our daily life. In our mundane life, what is happening is, since until we do not enter into yoga practice, since we have not entered so far into yoga practice previously, till that time, our consciousness, which is on the lower plane, is gravitated, attracted towards these layers, but not towards the inner light or the indweller. That is what is happening. It is constantly gravitated to what I have. See, that is what about we think always. Most of us, since we have not entered, or even after entered also, if we are not regularly practicing repetition and abhyasa, we have to repeatedly keep practicing. Unless we do that, what happens is our consciousness is dragged or attracted towards these lower layers. That is what is happening. This is due to the magnetic attraction, the law of magnetism. Due to that, because then we may ask that why should this law of magnetism apply in us? Because we are drawn towards what I am, these layers around, because of the law of magnetism, why should it apply at all on us? The answer is that to keep us because we are given a body. So to keep us connected to the body, connected to what I have, therefore this law applies, law of magnetism applies, and due to that our consciousness is attracted to what I have. Then we have to start an effort constantly, repeatedly, to turn towards what I have. That we have to make an effort. If we do not make an effort, automatically it goes, just like how when we are working with our computer, there are so many things which come, and if we don't make any effort to avoid them or eliminate them, they go into memory. They are registered into they are saved into memory. even though they are not useful for us. In the same manner, this is also happening with us. We are attracted towards this lower nature, what I have. So when we enter into yogic path, then when we start applying abhyasa or repetition in the yogic training, then our lower pole of what I have is the lower pole in us. The influence of the lower pole on our consciousness gradually gets loosened or dissipated, and attraction shifts from lower plane to lower consciousness, to higher consciousness, and then we get nearer and nearer to what I am from what I have. We are shifted from the attachment towards what I have, we are shifted towards what I am. That is the change that happens when we enter into yogic practice. So the purpose of practice of yoga is this very much. That is, so this process, anyway, it will take place in any one of our births, for everybody, inevitably. So this is an inevitable process. This is a process of what is called evolution. But it may take very long time. If it should happen in the routine, it may take a long time. Here in this aphorism, what Patanjali says is, if you surrender to the Lord consciousness, then this process is hastened. It will make a quick succession. That is the advantage we can have by making a total surrender to the Lord consciousness in us. Then the process is hastened. You need not wait for so many hundreds or thousands of births. When you can surrender all what I have to what I am in us, to the Lord. That is what called it Isra Pranidhana in this. Pranidhana means a total surrender. How can we do that? How can we know? In which manner we can make a total surrender? We have to first make a discrimination between what I want to do and what I have to do. That is where we should start our practice. What I have to do, what I want to do. Make a discrimination. You have to classify this. Because there is so many things in our everyday life. Our mind keeps on making proposals. Do this, do that, do this, do that, like that. Then you make a filter. Yes, okay. Put it to this. Is this what I wanted to do, or is this which I have to do? Then we have to filter it out. Take up which I have to do and discard which I want to do. Then what happens is gradually a wonderful arrangement will be made that only those things, those which I have to do will come to you. Only those things which you have to do will come to you. all other things, you need not do any effort for them. They will be eliminated before coming to you. That is a wonderful thing. While you start practicing this, when you start applying this in your daily life, then automatically, in the beginning you have to make an effort. You have to put an effort. Afterwards, it is effortless. That is the wonderful aspect of yoga. In the practice of, in our life, when you start practicing yoga, applying yoga in its true sense as is being explained in our daily life, then what happens is your life becomes effortless and very easy. Without any effort, without any strain, all that what is to be done through you will come to you. What you have to do will come to you. What you want to do will fade away. So its influence gradually is eliminated from your cognizance about what you wanted to do. This is a very important step. And another truth is that those things which you select, which you wanted to do, which are not actually you have, those which you want, you have to do, which you wanted to do by the proposal of your mind, you can never completely do it in your life. That is the real truth. You can verify, everyone can verify in your life. You wanted to do these things. That is those you wanted to do but not you have to do. You observe yourself whether you could complete those things which your mind has proposed. You can never finish them. So, you have to classify this and discard. Just keep away which you wanted to do and only keep doing which you have to do. That's the real, that's how you will make a forward step. Thank you all, because this is we should not be hasty to complete one aphorism in one class. Now don't be hasty, because we have to apply all these things to our daily life and verify them. Then only we can go ahead. Otherwise it's no use. So we have to understand what is Ishvara and what is surrendering, what is total surrender. Unless very clearly you can understand this, we cannot make a forward step. That is why we are going with so many examples and repetitions. Don't worry about this. We have so much of time. So, I thank you for your presence. Next Sunday, that means on the 21st of this month, since I have to attend Guru Puja in Vijayawada, so that is also, that Guru Puja will be telecast. People are making arrangement to make a direct live telecast of our Guru Puja in Vijayawada also. So you can see me in that Guru Puja. So therefore, we don't have Patanjali class on that Sunday. And also the next Sunday also, 28th of this month also, which is the full moon of this month. Then also, on that day also we have another such celebration. So therefore we will meet again on the 4th of April. Please remember this. So thank you all very much, and we will meet again. Vasudeva.